Well, where do I start? Wow, it's been so long. Whew. How did the intro go again? Hey beloved, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for clicking my video and joining me on my corner of the interwebs. My name is Sally Rico, for those who are new here, and it has been a very long while. This feels weird to me. Wow. I have been out. I wanted to say on hiatus, but that's not true. I've just been out. I've been uninspired. I have been down. I have been everything but been able to just put out content. And it's for a good reason. Well, because I found myself in a relationship that I thought would end up being a good thing for me, at least. And all my energy and thoughts and everything went into the relationship. As the title suggests, these are lessons I learned from that. I was in a 4-year relationship with a person, and I thought it would end in a marriage, and maybe even more than that if there's anything like that, but it did not. And these are some of the things I learned from that relationship. Now, quick disclaimer as I go on. I feel like I need to say this because people sometimes can be rude. This person, why this relationship ended, let me start from there. Because it just wasn't our purpose. It just wasn't in the cards for us. He is a good guy. He has his own flaws, so do I. He wasn't perfect, neither was I, but it just wasn't working for us. That's why it ended. Which brings me to my first point. These are the lessons I learned from that. Everything is important. Your family dynamic, your age, how you people think about money, class, background in terms of environment, in terms of how you grew up, family dynamic in terms of which bone are you, what kind of responsibilities does your family have over you, your friends, conflict resolution, everything is important. Even the thing that you don't think is important because we are all created in the image of God, yes, but we're all very different. And that's the beauty of us as humanity. God made us differently, and we think differently, and we behave differently, and we do things differently. And when you find somebody, it doesn't mean that you are going to start thinking the same or etc. No, but it doesn't mean that you have to align with that person. In your differences, they have to align. So if it doesn't align with what the purpose of your relationship is, or his purpose and yours doesn't align with the purpose of God, then it's not going to work. It doesn't matter how good this person is, it just won't work. Second lesson I learned: being on the same page means different things for men and women. There's this statement that I kept hearing, and I didn't understand it until now, after the relationship. Men marry the person that is in front of them. Let me say that again. Men marry the person that's in front of them. I didn't understand what that means. You're never going to be ready for marriage. Never, men or women. It's never something that you have to prepare and be ready for. Nah, it's something you decide to do. Love is a choice, and you choose to love this person every single day of your life forsaking all others and just choosing this one person in alignment with God and your purpose, right? But being on the same page means if he's not ready to die to self and become the person he needs to become to be a husband, right? And you being a wife, you guys are not on the same page. You probably both desire marriage. You probably want a life partner, but if you're not ready to do the work that requires you to be a husband or to be a wife, then y'all are not on the same page. It's just as simple as that. That lesson I learned. Love with all your heart, but take your head with you. Yeah. This is a mistake a lot of women make, right? You give of yourself to this man, and it could be the most mundane thing or the most important thing, like the deepest depth of your soul. And you could be doing everything right. Absolutely right. You could be doing everything right. But you have to take your head with you. You have to talk yourself into or out of certain situations or circumstances that are not in line with what God's plan has for you. Right? Love is a choice. It's not an emotion. I think that's the hardest lesson I had to learn. Love is a choice, not a feeling. So, love with all your heart, yes, but always take your head with you. You will not see the red flags through those rose-colored goggles. You get what I mean? You will not see the red flags. Everything is red. Everything is mauve. Everything is pink. Everything is the same color. And by red flags, I mean, you see, when you're in love, you will start to tolerate certain things which you think, tutafix uko mbele. We'll fix it when you get married or whatever, right? But no, which brings me to my fourth lesson. Hear me out, okay? Before you start throwing stones, men are not dumb. They know exactly what they're doing. I mean, if you're a female, if a guy comes at you and he starts to pursue you, right? And you give him of yourself, and he learns, oh, all I need to do is this so I can get this, he's going to continue doing that thing so that he can get what he wants. But you see, I don't know where we lost the ball in terms of empathy or just being nice. And I'm addressing men in this time. Like, if you have no intentions to be with her, why are you still pursuing her? And by that, it could be the smallest of things. Like, she's just giving you attention. She's texting you. She's calling you every other day. She's just making sure you're fine. And a lot of men just want that. But they don't want the commitment of a relationship. A lot of men want just that, the comfort of it. Until now, push comes to shove, where he has to actually step up and is like, wait, no, I do want to step up, just not with you. And that's the reality of things. That's what I mean by men are not dumb. They know exactly what they're doing. In their mind, they have a picture of what a wife looks like for them. What a wife looks like for them. They have that picture in their mind. And a lot of men, again, please don't put this tone down. A lot of men don't realize this, but that statement where a lot of men look for their mothers is very true. Very true. Unconsciously, they don't realize that's what they're looking at. And because of that, this is going back to my first point. Everything matters. The family dynamic. What's his mom like? What's his relationship with his mother? What kind of woman does he see her as? Because that's the kind of woman he's going to marry. or that's the kind of woman he's going to attract. Okay, not necessarily attract, that could be false. Like, you could attract the opposite, but ideally, if you look at it, that's the kind of woman he wants to settle down with. Unconsciously, he won't believe that, but if men actually sat down and thought about it and had a conversation about it, they realize, wow, I actually married my mother. And that's, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. No, really not saying that's a bad thing. But unfortunately, mothers, and I can say this because I am one, how we raise our kids is very important, because how you're going to raise your son is important to how they're going to meet or how they're going to interact with my daughter. Understand? Because I've raised my daughter a certain way, and I've raised her in a way that most parents will raise their kids better than how they were raised. That's ultimately the goal. And so you will shield your kids from a lot of things because you feel like, no, I suffered in this area, so I don't want my child to suffer. You get, and then you find now, because you've shielded your child from that, there was a lesson they were supposed to learn in there somehow, and they come out in the world and the world teaches them that lesson the harsh way. And then you find broken people who meet with other broken people, and they break each other more because they're not fulfilling or they're not getting what the end result is, which is this picture perfect thing that they've drawn in the castle up in the air. Yeah, it's a vicious cycle that at some point needs to stop, and I don't know where we can do that. But these are some of the lessons I learned. There are a lot more, and I'm choosing to share with you the ones that I feel you need to hear. But if you've ever been in a situation like me, where you've been in a relationship so long, you're in a relationship and it's been so long and there's no hope of the end, marriage, or forever after with this person, and you had the difficult task of walking away, what are some of the lessons you learned? I'd like to hear from you in the comment section below. Free to hit me up on our social media platforms. Facebook, I am also on TikTok. I'm really trying on that platform. I'm trying, but hit me up, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And I would love to hear your thoughts, and let's have a conversation about this. Other than that, thank you for joining me in this episode, and I hope to do this more. This can be like maybe a diary to myself, future stuff, I guess. I don't know. Now I'm rambling. I need to go. Bye. See you in the next one. I love you. God loves you more.